Rockford, Illinois is 3 toll plazas west from Chicago along the evil monster that is the Illinois Tollway. I visited Rockford, Illinois on March 13th and 14th, 2021. Instead of making one 5-hour-long video to go through the whole city, I split it up into 5 different sections. The city is split up into these 5 sections in a way that each video will show a different part of the city in a socio-economic way. For instance, the northeast side of town is a more affluent part of town than the west side is. Also, while I was here, I visited some of Rockford's suburbs and other nearby Illinois towns. In prior videos so far, I've shown you the west side of Rockford and downtown. In this video, I'm going to be driving in mad circles around the north side of Rockford. To keep it simple, the boundaries that I drew for this section are the entire city limits that are north of Auburn Street and west of the Rock River. Well, let's get to it. Shall we? I begin the video in the parking lot of the Rockford Art Museum, which I'm sure is a nice place to visit if you're ever in Rockford and art galleries are your thing. If you enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video of an area near you. Also, if you enjoy this video, you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos on other places like the north side of Rockford can be found in my Rockford playlist or in my Illinois playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. In most of this video, I'll be going through the 61103 zip code, which is the zip code that we are in currently. The 61103 zip code is primarily the parts of the city that are west of the Rock River, north of downtown, and east of Rockton Avenue. The zip code is home to 23,700 residents, which is down from a 2010 population of 24,500. The median household income here is $40,000 per year, and 23% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher. The median value of owner-occupied housing units is $94,000, and the poverty rate is 20%. If you saw my previously uploaded video that is titled as The Worst Parts of Rockford, Illinois, where I go through the west side of town, you'll notice that the north side of town doesn't nearly have the amount of vacant lots and boarded up buildings as the west side does. That's not to say that crime doesn't happen on the north side of town, or that drug usage isn't a factor in this part of town either, but it's definitely not to the level as what happens on the west side. The southeast side of Rockford is also pretty rough, and I'll have a video coming up that goes through the southeast portion of town soon. Most of the streets on the north side are filled with older homes. In certain parts of this video, you'll see some older homes that have been kept up with really well, though you'll also see the occasional boarded up home or empty lot as we go along. On the left is the Roosevelt Community Education Center, which serves grades 9 through 12 and is used as an alternative to a regular high school. Soon, we will cross a street that's called Garfield Avenue. I didn't see any annoying orange cats, but I couldn't help but notice how nice some of the older homes looked off of the street as I passed by. It made me want to detour from my original route to see more of the street, so that's what I did. While heading towards the beginning of this neat-looking street called Garfield Avenue, I thought that this street looked really nice as well. Garfield Historic District, the sign reads. The Historic District was the second to be registered in the city of Rockford. The first home on Garfield Avenue was built in 1911, and the street was completed with mansions in the 1920s. It was mostly people that were higher up in the town's manufacturing companies that lived here when these homes were first being built. Up ahead, the Historic District continues past Winnebago Street for another block. I didn't continue heading through as the sign said that it was a dead-end street. Surrounding the Historic District is a larger section of the city that is beginning to show signs of blight. I've seen worse though, and so have you, especially if you've been a fan of this channel for a while now. Next, I continue to head west along Auburn Street, and then I head northwest once I get to Kilburn Street. As I'm passing Rockton Avenue, I'm now within the boundaries of the 61101 zip code. North of Auburn Street, the areas within said zip code are a lot like what you see in the 61103 zip code. South of Auburn Street, however, the areas are a lot more crime-ridden. Drug usage is also a much bigger deal in the areas south of Auburn Street, and if you want to see those areas, check out my video on the worst parts of Rockford, or the west side of Rockford. The 61101 zip code as a whole is home to 19,400 residents, which is down from a 2010 population of 21,500 and from a 2000 population of 23,000. The median household income is $37,000 per year, and the poverty rate is 28%. The median value of owner-occupied housing units is $76,000, and only 10% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher. Like I was saying though, most of the areas north of Auburn Street in this zip code are very similar to the areas within the 61103 zip code. It's south of Auburn Street where you start worrying about the crime, drugs, and it's also where you start seeing more of the boarded up homes and other signs of abandonment. For parts of this upcoming stretch, it might not look like we are within the Rockford city limits, but it still is. It's just the far northwestern outskirts of town. Up ahead on the right is a Walmart, one of 3 Walmarts in the city of Rockford. Something that I've noticed about Rockford is that there are an estimated 80,000 plus residents that live west of the Rock River. There's an Aldi at Central Avenue and Auburn Street, but outside of that, there's not too many options for grocery or other types of shopping. It's mostly just a bunch of dollar stores and a couple of places like Save-A-Lots. This part of town is deprived of retail and could use some more to serve a population of 80,000+ west of the Rock River.
Hello? Have you not heard of online shopping killing retail everywhere? This isn't a Rockford issue, this is a national issue. Get your facts straight and stop singling out places like the west side of Rockford.
Well, I just double-checked and I'm not wrong. The entire portion of Rockford that is west of the Rock River has only one Walmart, an Aldi, and a few other lower-end dollar store-like places, plus a couple of Save-A-Lots. There's also not that many places on this part of town that show signs that more retail used to be out this way, which basically nullifies the argument that online retail has killed the retail sector in West Rockford. That's not true. It was never here to begin with. Part of what adds to the quality of life in cities, in my opinion, is being close to amenities. Unless you're okay with one Walmart to choose from, which is on the far northwestern outskirts of town and not near the population center of the west side, you'll have to drive through dozens of traffic lights before you get all the way to the opposite side of town, where you'll see more selections such as Target, Meijer, Sam's Club, Costco, and a nice selection of restaurants. This lone Walmart is essentially the only amenity on this part of town. To some of you that might not be a big deal, but in my opinion it's a negative. In a future video you'll be able to see the overly congested thoroughfare that is East State Street, and a big reason why it's so congested is because that's where 90% of the amenities are in Rockford. Next I continue to head south towards the Mercyhealth Hospital. On the left is the Mercyhealth Hospital. It's the second highest employer in the Rockford metropolitan area as it employs 4,500 workers. In first place, it's the Rockford Public Schools with nearly 4,900 employees. In third place, it's Fiat Chrysler as they have a plant in nearby Belvedere, and that employs 3,700. In fourth place, it's the Swedish American Health System, which employs 3,300. And in fifth place, it's UPS, which employs 2,200. On the left of this giant field is West Middle School. Niche.com gives the school a C-. In historical context, this used to be Rockford West High School, one of the 3 high schools in the city at the time. There was West, Central, and East. Rockford West High School opened in 1940 and closed in 1989. Now it's West Middle School. Next, I continue my mad circles around the north side of Rockford by heading towards Searls Park on the far northwestern side of the city.
I met you at my brother's. Your lines were like lightning, so bright and uncontrollable. Yeah, I could hardly fight it. You took me to your parents. We were joking in the street. Your eyes were like headlights crashing into me. Like a dirty way out, I'll disappear slowly, so I won't hear you say, you know I always loved you, but just not in that way. I never let you go, 'cause it's a long, long way to your mountain top. A long, long way to your mountain. I never let you go, 'cause it's a long, long way to your mountain top. A long, long way to your mountain. And it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell to belong to someone. And it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell to belong to someone. And it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell to belong to someone. And it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell, and it hurts like hell to belong to someone. I never let you go, 'cause it's a long, long way to your mountain top. A long, long way to your mountain. I never let you go, 'cause it's a long, long way to your mountain top. A long, long way to your mountain. I met you at my brother's. Your lines were like lightning.
This is Searls Park. Nice little green space, I suppose, on the outskirts of town. There's a popular BMX racetrack here that holds all sorts of races from May to October. They call it Northern Illinois' premier BMX race facility, and it was ranked as the 8th best track in the United States by the American Bicycle Association. There's not much else to Searls Park. It's mostly otherwise just an open green space on the outskirts of the city. There's a bike path that begins here and follows a creek 3 miles into downtown. It's hard to believe that all the way out here we're only 3 miles away from downtown Rockford, but it's true. Now we're back in the main structure of the city, which will stay for the rest of this video. I'll drive along this road until it ends and then see some areas along the Rock River before finishing the video. It seems like the small neighborhoods that border the river is where the money is in this part of town. There's nice homes all up and down the Rock River stretching from the Wisconsin border to downtown. I mean, it is a pretty river. This neighborhood is also full of nice homes and parallels the Rock River. The rest of this video will just be some more neighborhoods that make up the north side before I reach a park on the far north side along the Rock River. To the left is Boylan Catholic High School, which is a private Catholic high school and enrolls around 1,100 students. Among the most well-known alumni is DJ and fashion designer Virgil Abloh, actress Jodie Benson, who is the voice of Ariel from Little Mermaid, that's pretty neat, actor Anthony Tyler Quinn, and current Green Bay Packers defensive end Dean Lowry. The north side of town isn't necessarily a bad part of town to be in. Crime doesn't happen near as often in this part of town as it does in other bad parts of the city. As I mentioned previously, Rockford has lost 7,500 people since 2010, which puts it in 9th place along the list of US cities that has lost the most people in that time frame. In the area that we just drove through, there is about a little bit more than 1,000 people that left that part of town since 2010, and you saw some vacancies and abandonment here and there. As Rockford continues to struggle to bring in more jobs, it'll be interesting to see how this part of town holds up. I do end the video here at the park that I think is called Mercy 1, named after the hospital in the area. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video of an area near you. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos on other places like the north side of Rockford can be found in my Rockford playlist or in my Illinois playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. We'll see you next time. Peace!